Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
And it looked like Chennedy Carter has finally broken her silence about this Caitlin Clark situation. Chennedy Carter just jumped out the window and justified an assault on Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA season is only weeks out, and nearly every big-name free agent has locked in a deal, except one, Chennedy Carter. That's right, the same Chennedy Carter who sparked outrage with that notorious shoulder check on Caitlin Clark last June.
Break down that situation that happened.
Yeah. So, in basketball a little bit, there's things called talking, what you like to call smack or whatever everybody likes to call it.
Yeah.
Plays before things are said, you know, that's a part of basketball.
As Caitlin Clark heads into her second season with momentum at an all-time high, Chennedy Carter is stuck trying to tell her side of the story on live streams and interviews. She insists it was nothing serious, just a light bump during the game, but league execs don't seem convinced. Is this payback, a message, or is Carter being used to set the tone for how others treat the WNBA's rising star? Let's get into it.
We know Chennedy Carter has always been kind of up against the fence when speaking about this Caitlin Clark situation. We remember when she first got asked about this during a press conference, she stated that she wasn't going to speak on Caitlin Clark. Now we know months later, she still hasn't spoken on the whole situation. That is until today. Yes, Chennedy Carter finally broken her silence about the Caitlin Clark hip check.
Who could forget that heated moment last June when Chennedy Carter intentionally slammed into Caitlin Clark? What should have been a routine regular season game between the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever turned into the defining moment of Carter's career.
And Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
Let's go moment by moment. Right after scoring, Carter suddenly cut across the court, not to play defense, but clearly zeroing in on an off-guard Clark. There was no game-related reason for the move. The footage shows Carter shouting something under her breath, locking eyes with Clark, then slamming her shoulder into the rookie, knocking her flat to the floor. Anyone watching could see this wasn't accidental, it was clearly on purpose.
So she was signed to the Chicago Sky with Teresa Weatherspoon, with Angel Reese, with Camila Cardoso, and, you know, the rest of the folks. And then we get to the body check. This was originally ruled an away from the ball foul, but it was obviously a flagrant foul. It really upset a lot of people, which really escalated the issue. And it was really just poor sportsmanship on Kennedy's.
What really stands out is how the refs first called it just a regular foul, the kind you see all game long. But once they took a closer look, it was instantly upgraded to a flagrant. The replay said it all. This wasn't a basketball play. It was a targeted hit, delivered away from the ball after the action had already finished.
It's one thing pushing Caitlin Clark, and it's another thing blindsiding her. Like, I don't think there's no justification for that. Like, to be honest, we can be honest here.
Clark's reaction said everything about who she is. Even after getting hit out of nowhere and hitting the floor hard, she didn't complain, didn't look for revenge. She just stood up, dusted herself off, and kept playing. No theatrics, no drama, just pure focus. Meanwhile, fans and commentators lit up with outrage, instantly realizing this wasn't normal physical play. It was a calculated move meant to intimidate or injure.
Now, what little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that? How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. That's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.
And here's the thing. This wasn't Carter's first time at the center of controversy. After the Clark hit, people started looking at her track record. Back in 2021 with the Atlanta Dream, she was suspended indefinitely for what the team described as conduct detrimental to the team after a fiery altercation went too far. That incident already had folks questioning her professionalism and whether she could really mesh in a team setting.
Atlanta Dream did suspend her in the middle of the sophomore season, basically saying she was a detriment to the team and the team culture. So then the Atlanta Dream decided to trade her to the Sparks, the Los Angeles Sparks.
And the timing couldn't have been worse. The WNBA is booming like never before, breaking records in viewership and ticket sales, thanks in large part to Clark's arrival. The league is rightfully protective of that growth and pushing a message of professionalism. In the middle of all this, Carter's actions felt totally out of sync with the direction the league is headed.
What's crazy about all of this, immediately after that push, this is what she said to the media.
Kind of on the play before bumping in with Caitlin, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit after the fever
I
score.
didn't answer no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
Later, Carter tried to walk back what was plainly seen by millions of viewers, but by then, the damage had already been done. That shoulder hit wasn't just a poor decision or a heat-of-the-moment foul. It became the defining moment of her career. Once viewed as a rising talent, she was now a player most teams didn't want near their roster, and now she's finally speaking out. We'll get into what she said shortly. Basketball is built on intensity, physicality, and emotion, but there's an unspoken line between competitive edge and reckless behavior. Carter blew right past that line, and the league's response sent a clear message about what kind of conduct will and won't be tolerated in today's WNBA.
I said Chennedy Carter wasn't going to make a WNBA roster. And as it sits, April 20th, training camps start for teams in 7 days. Training camp for a majority of the WNBA start April the 27th. Chennedy Carter is not on any WNBA roster. Want to know why? Because it's Chennedy Carter's fault she's not on any WNBA rosters.
Crossing that invisible line hasn't just hurt her reputation, it's put her whole career in jeopardy. Now she's in damage control mode, trying to change the narrative before it's too late. Just a few days ago, with training camp around the corner and no team willing to sign her, she sat down with streamer Neon, and fans were stunned by what she had to say.
I think a play before, maybe I was elbowed. Okay, that happens. Think the next play down, maybe something was said. And then maybe there was like a little clip of somebody like yelling in my face. And then we go down the court. Then I hit like a little bucket, you feel me? Come down, hit like a little nice little mid-range pull up. And then I just like, just give her like a little like, I'm here. Like, I don't think it was, what's crazy? Me and my brother went back and watched, and we seen a lot of clips in the NBA of guys getting like pushing LeBron. Like, I think it was Jeff Teague or somebody who like pushed LeBron out of bounds, like said, man, I was mad because like we couldn't stop him.
Watching Carter try to brush off what millions saw with their own eyes is absolutely jaw-dropping. During the interview, she casually chalked up the blatant shoulder check to just talking smack and giving Clark a little I'm here energy. What really stands out? The wild gap between Carter's casual excuse and the brutal hit that sent Clark crashing onto the floor. The footage speaks louder than any excuse. There was absolutely nothing subtle or ordinary about that collision.
She did. She stopped and went through. Like, that is not... We watched the clip. There is no way that we're letting this happen. Like, saying that it was nothing. Like this is not just a tap.
Making things even more unbelievable, Carter suddenly claimed she might have been elbowed right before the play. This convenient twist, never once mentioned before, was quickly shredded by the video. The footage shows no foul play against her at all, making this last-minute excuse look completely fake even to casual fans.
So I'm just like, it's like one of those things, like it happens in basketball. I know people try to say, it's not one of those things.
It's not a personal thing, it's a competitive thing.
It happens in basketball, and like it's just one of those things. But like, yeah, it's kind of what happened. Then it spiraled out of control.
And then the media takes whatever narrative they want to
do
put
you
out.
watch every single game to see if you can find any deflects in my game, and like it's really nothing that you probably could say too much about. So then you have trolls, and that's what I said. They're gonna be around regardless. But yeah, it was just like a nice little like tap, like I'm here, not to like harm you or anything. If you want to push somebody, you're gonna like full force.
Social media pounced on the obvious spin job. One fan's comment nailed the mood perfectly. You all seriously don't believe her, do you? And they weren't alone. Basketball fans everywhere piled on with the same reaction, calling this a desperate move to save face.
This is crazy, and this changes everything, because all this time we've been waiting on Chennedy Carter to take responsibility for what she did to Caitlin Clark. It shows me, I ain't even got to watch all this footage right here, but I am going to look at it. But it's showing me right now that she still is not taking responsibility for her actions. She's finna blame this whole situation on Caitlin Clark supposedly talking smack to her.
You couldn't ask for a clearer setup. With the 2025 training camp right around the corner and Carter still sitting unsigned, this interview screams emergency PR stunt. After staying completely silent for months, Carter suddenly feels the urge to tell her side of the story, right when teams are locking in their rosters. The timing couldn't be more suspicious.
I mean, that happens, man. Like, it's one of those things. I'm a great player. She's a great player. It looks a certain way. Everybody's going to have their views on it. But my personal view is, I don't have anything against her. She's a great player, and so am I. And I've got buckets all that season. You know what I'm saying? So just one of those things that, I love it though. They think I hate it. I love it. I love when it gets riled up and juicy like that.
You feed off of like what people say and shit, and it makes you more
motivated.
motivated.
That's what I'm telling you. Oh yeah, I love the hate. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One of the most jaw-dropping parts of Carter's sudden charm offensive is her total flip-flop on Clark's talent. Not long ago, she was openly questioning what Clark offered besides three-pointers. Now she's singing a whole new tune, calling Clark a great player, and even putting her in the same league as LeBron James. This stunning turnaround feels a lot less like a true change of heart, and way more like a calculated move to look remorseful without admitting any real fault.
This is a bad look, bro. This is her pretty much begging for a team to pick her up. Oh, it's just part of basketball. That's not part of basketball, bro. What you did to Caitlin Clark, you can't justify that assault.
Plenty of basketball experts have shredded Carter's version of events, pointing out how she twisted what real physical play actually looks like. One analyst hit the nail on the head. Carter's hit wasn't just bad sportsmanship, it put the league's brightest star at risk. There's a huge difference between playing tough and targeting someone after the whistle. What Carter still seems clueless about is that her real problem goes way beyond just the original incident. It's the fact that she still refuses to show real accountability. By brushing off how serious her actions were and trying to invent fake provocations, she's only making teams even more wary of taking a chance on her.
Kennedy Carter just jumped out the window and justified an assault on Caitlin Clark.
This interview completely backfired. Instead of fixing her reputation, Carter has only made it even clearer that accountability issues follow her everywhere. Her skill has never been in question. Everyone knows she can rack up points with the best of them. But pure talent doesn't cut it when doubts about character and chemistry are hanging over her like a storm cloud. Basketball is all about trust and teamwork. When a player shows they're willing to target a star opponent with a cheap shot and then refuses to own up to it months later, it sends massive red flags about how they'll behave inside a locker room. Carter's desperate attempt to spin the story has only made it clearer why no team has picked her up. Meanwhile, players with way less natural talent are locking down roster spots with ease.
Her actions prove that no team is willing to bet their luck on her. Now, granted, she's a dominant scorer, excellent basketball player in certain aspects of the game, but her behavior on and off the court is making it look real shady for her to get picked up by a team.
Basketball has an unwritten code that separates the real competitors from teammates who cause problems. Right now, Carter is facing something almost unheard of in WNBA history. In a league hungry for scorers, a player who put up 17.5 points a game last season is sitting on the sidelines while training camps are about to kick off. That says everything about how team executives really view her behavior.
And there has not been a peep about anywhere that she could be landing in this free agency. So a lot of people, including myself, are wondering, is she worth the risk now?
One of the biggest signs, the Chicago Sky didn't even bother giving Carter a qualifying offer. Think about that. They let their top scorer leave without trying to hold on to her or even get anything in return. In pro basketball, no team lets an offensive weapon walk away unless the off-court problems are too big to ignore.
I mean, she can score with the lights out. I mean, she's pure offense, a pure shooting guard, scoring guard, an instant offense. But if you're a team, do you really want her on the team? I wouldn't.
When asked about it, Chicago Sky GM Jeff Pegluka gave a carefully polished answer, saying changes to the staff and roster impacted Carter's fit, claiming it was about giving her the best shot as a free agent. But that carefully worded explanation barely hides the truth. Reports point straight to serious locker room drama and fears that Carter's presence was tearing apart team chemistry. The harshest blow comes from a WNBA executive who didn't hold back. They wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. This brutal truth shows just how toxic Carter's reputation has gotten across the league. When executives drop bombs like that, even behind closed doors, it means a player has gone from being controversial to downright radioactive.
Man, good luck. Good luck. I don't know who's going to take her. I don't know what teams are going to take her. No, I don't think she's going to the Indiana Fever. I mean, yeah, bring her in after what happened. I don't think so.
These worries aren't just about one ugly moment with Clark. Teams are seriously concerned about how Carter could wreck their chances of signing and keeping other star players. In today's WNBA, where roster building is a science, no one wants to gamble on someone who might send other talents running for the door or wreck a team's chemistry. Right now, the WNBA is laser focused on riding its explosive growth. Reports say league officials are even thinking about stricter player conduct rules, all thanks to incidents like Carter's wild foul. The message couldn't be louder. The league is ready to defend its stars and its reputation at all costs.
Come on. Cheer for your teammates, be a part of this team, and then ensues an altercation between the two where Chennedy Carter was sent to the locker room mid-game, of which afterwards, after the game, this is what has been reported. I guess Chennedy Carter wanted to fight Courtney Williams, like physically fight Courtney Williams, who backed away from this and was like, no way. So there was no actual physical altercation that happened.
Carter's fall from grace stands out even more when you compare it to players who messed up but got a second chance. What's different here? It's the perfect storm. Her high-profile victim, her refusal to take real responsibility, her repeat behavior, and the fact that all of this is happening while the league is trying to expand like crazy. The real story isn't just that Carter's unsigned. It's the deafening silence from all 12 teams. No workout invites, no training camp offers, not even whispers of interest. This total freeze-out says way more than just punishing one bad play. It's a full-blown judgment on her character and professionalism.
To an extent, like you can criticize, especially on the court, when somebody 100% cheap shots your favorite player. Like, there's a level of going at. We all know with Kennedy Carter it went way too far. Like, we can be honest here, it did go way too far with Kennedy.
Top basketball executives know talent alone doesn't bring home championships. Team chemistry, locker room culture, and player relationships mean everything. Carter's situation is a hard lesson in how fast a promising career can spiral when a player puts personal grudges ahead of the team's success. While Clark's rising fame is powering the WNBA's huge momentum, Carter's disappearance is a warning sign flashing bright. The league has made it crystal clear. It's backing players who reflect its future vision, and it's willing to leave pure scorers behind if they can't match the league's values.